This is really a matter of great pleasure and pride for me to get an opportunity to welcome Dr. Jyoti to Institute for Industrial Development and also to introduce her to our viewers of Entrepreneurs India TV. She is here with us today to share her wisdom, experience, and guidance on the business opportunities in aromatherapy. I am confident that this discussion will be highly useful for new entrepreneurs of this field and will be contributing factor in our mission Atmanirbhar Bharat. Dr. Jyoti was awarded doctorate in 2008 on a very unique concept, history of uses of essential oils through the ages. Dr. Jyoti published 15 research papers on aromatic and medicinal plants in different reputed journals. She also published 7 books in different reputed publications. Magna Carta, 800 Years Journey from Unfettering Chains to Free, Vinashiri, Face of Yesteryear's Activism, First World War Centenary, Travel and Tourism, Authors, The Fading Aromatic Culture of India, My Country, India, and Heritage Tourism. From 2018 onwards, she is associated with Mussoorie Fragrance and Flavor Institute and High Altitude Aroma Tourism Wellness Center with medicinal and aromatic plants. अक्सर ये जो आपने 2 नए इंस्टीट्यूट एस्टेब्लिश किए, इसके पीछे क्या मिशन था, क्या विजन था और वो कौन से इनिशिएशंस थे जो इनके थ्रू आपने स्टार्ट किए?
अक्सर ऐसा है कि मैं अरोमा थेरेपी पे जैसे जैसे मैं अपनी पीएचडी का काम करती जा रही थी, मैं अरोमा थेरेपी पे उसका अप्लाइड एस्पेक्ट एक्सपीरियंस करती जा रही थी। और क्योंकि हमारे हिल्स में ऐसे प्लांट्स मिलते हैं जिनका because of the biodiversity and because of the stresses that come on the plants, these plants have proved to be more effective in the practice of aromatherapy. And ये चीज मैंने realize की, और क्योंकि ये प्रॉपर्टी हमारे फादर की यहाँ थी और मेरा एक मिशन था कि एक बार मैं रिटायर होंगी तो मैं ये कोशिश करूँगी कि हाई एल्टीट्यूड की जो प्लांट्स हैं उनके साथ में अरोमाथेरेपी में इनको इंकॉर्पोरेट करके let me try to see if I can bring greater wellness and well-being for the benefit of the people. So रिटायर होने के बाद मैं इसलिए यहाँ पे शिफ्ट हो गई और खुद ही कल्टीवेशन, बिकॉज मेरा एक कॉन्सेप्ट था कि व्हेन यू प्रैक्टिस अरोमाथेरेपी एक कॉन्सेप्ट होना चाहिए कि आप कौन से प्लांट वो कैसे उग रहा है, उसकी क्या नर्चरिंग है और उसके उस सब चीज का इफेक्ट अरोमाथेरेपी में पड़ता है। तो आई वांटेड कि मैं ये सब चीज इनकॉर्पोरेट करूं, खुद ही अपने एक्सपीरियंस के साथ में प्लांट्स को कल्टीवेट करूं और खुद ही उसमें वैल्यू एडिशन करके उसका फिर मैं जो प्रोड्यूस जो एंड प्रोडक्ट्स में बनाऊंगी उसको मैं इन द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ अरोमाथेरेपी अप्लाई कर सकूं। ये मेरा एक कॉन्सेप्ट।
इस कॉन्सेप्ट को लेके आपने ये सब एस्टेब्लिश किया।
जी।
Kindly accept our congratulations for this great vision and mission dedicated to poor and downtrodden masses. This really is a great effort in fulfilling the dreams of Atmanirbhar Bharat also. Accept, with your permission, can we come to our topic of today, which is opportunities and possibilities in aromatherapy business.
जी।
सर, aromatherapy को हम कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे? aromatherapy क्या है?
अरोमा आप बोलिए तो सुगंध है, खुशबू है
जी।
और इस सुगंध को जब हम उपचार में लगाते हैं, चिकित्सा में लगाते हैं तो हम इसको अरोमाथेरेपी बोल सकते हैं। अब वो चिकित्सा हम ये नहीं सोचते हैं कि हम किसी डॉक्टर के साथ हम पैरेलल या कंपटीशन करें, बट एक वेलनेस और वेलबींग का कॉन्सेप्ट हम क्रिएट कर सकते हैं कि अगर हम इस सुगंध से अपने को किसी तरीके से फील करते हैं बेटर है, जैसे छोटी सी चीज है, नींद नहीं आ रही, तो अगर हम इसका उपचार इसी में ढूंढ लेते हैं तो कम से कम हमारी प्रॉब्लम जो है जो एक्सेंचुएट होके उस सिचुएशन पे नहीं आ जाएगी कि हमें डॉक्टर के पास भागने जी। इससे हम खुद अपने तरीके निकाल सकते हैं, हम वेलनेस और वेलबींग का कॉन्सेप्ट क्रिएट कर सकते हैं।
अच्छा, इसकी क्लिनिकल यूटिलिटीज और कौन कौन सी हैं इस थेरेपी की?
बहुत सारी एक्चुअली, जब मैं अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दूंगी तो आप देखिएगा कि देर आर डिफरेंट वेज, जैसे सुगंध का जो हमारे ऊपर इफेक्ट होता है, बहुत सारे तरीके हैं। कुछ इंजेक्शन से होता है, कुछ ऑल्फैक्टरी से होता है, और उसमें बहुत सारे जैसे मास्टिकेशन है, डाइजेशन है, swallowing है, एट एवरी स्टेज ये हमको इफेक्ट कहीं ना कहीं पे करता है इन अ डिफरेंट वे. So when we say clinically, we have to understand that it's basically having a physical effect, a psychological effect, and a physiological effect. So that's how it's going to bring a change in your own existence and your wellness.
So it is a integrated therapy. अच्छा, ये जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री और अल्टरनेटिव मेडिसिन है, ये मेरे ख्याल से इसी में ये एक पार्ट है इसका।
जी 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 जी.
तो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री और अल्टरनेटिव मेडिसिन को हम कैसे डिफाइन करते हैं?
Uh, it becomes more of a part of naturopathy. So you're basically taking concepts from nature, that nature has created something, and that you are using for your own treatment. So automatically it becomes an alternative way of healing. You are not depending on antibiotics, and you're not depending on those fourth generation drugs for your treatment. You are basically falling back on nature and trying to seek wellness and well-being through the produce that nature is giving. The topic that has been assigned for discussion today is entrepreneurial opportunities for promoting healing with सुगंध चिकित्सा. एंड अप्रोप्रिएटली मैंने अरोमा थेरेपी को यहाँ सुगंध चिकित्सा बोला है, जिससे कि हमारा जो कॉन्सेप्ट है आत्मनिर्भर भारत का, वो आपके सामने पेश होता है. एंड द टॉपिक दैट वी आर गोइंग टू बी डिस्कसिंग इज द हीलिंग वंडर्स ऑफ अरोमा थेरेपी, which I refer to as Sugandh Chikitsa, and how it is going to help in promoting business ventures. Aromatherapy is extending wellness with Sugandh Upchar और सुगंध चिकित्सा. अगर आप अक्रॉस द ग्लोब ये देखेंगे तो क्रॉस सिविलाइजेशंस अरोमाज या सुगंध या खुशबू या इस खुशबू से जो हीलिंग होती है, यू विल फाइंड दैट ये दिस इज एज प्राचीन, मतलब ये उतना ही प्राचीन है जैसे कि ह्यूमन सिविलाइजेशन है. And countries have used plants almost in the same way, as well as those aromatic substances जो कभी-कभी animal source से भी मिलते हैं. और ये components हैं जैसे musk from the deer or civet cat or ambergris from sperm whale, and these are used in food as well as in treatments. That's why इनको हम fragrances and flavors बोलते हैं. कुछ examples मैं आपके सामने दे रही हूँ, जैसे postpartum care in Indian tradition of Ayurvedic practices for recuperating mothers after delivery, yagna, havan, and across the world you will find there are such treatments such as the Sudanese bath, जो आजकल बहुत फिर से पॉपुलर हो रहा है, और ये यूज होता है स्किन एंड इंटरनल हेल्थ के लिए. ये मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगी आगे की स्लाइड में कि व्हाट इज दिस सुडानीज बाथ. इजिप्शियन कोन की एक मैंने इमेज डाली है, which is nothing but unguents which have been put in cones, एंड जो डांसर्स होती थी उनके सिर के ऊपर ये कोन्स लगा दिए जाते थे, और जैसे बॉडी हीट के साथ में जब वो डांस करते थे तो वो बॉडी हीट से ये अंजन्स मेल्ट होके पिघल के उनके बालों में, उनके स्कैल्प में, उनके स्किन पे, उनके नेक पे, इट यूज्ड टू सूद देयर स्किन. So these are all practices which have been ancient throughout the world, and they have been used, and now we are trying to revive them through this concept of aromatherapy or सुगंध उपचार. अब ये जो सब टर्म्स मैंने आपके सामने रखे हैं, जैसे सुगंध चिकित्सा है या अरोमा थेरेपी है, ये बहुत बेसिक एसेंस ऑफ गंध शास्त्र है, which is so much Indian. I mean, when you use the word गंध शास्त्र, it appears Indian, and I'm going to explain this slide में कि what is this गंध शास्त्र, and this becomes the very basics of our Indian science of odor. So the term aromatherapy, you will say or find, is a synonym to Sugandh Chikitsa, as I'm making a reference to. Aroma stands for Sugandh, therapy stands for Chikitsa. Gandh से जो हम बोल रहे हैं या एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हैं, it means aroma, और सुगंध और odor. और शास्त्र is very clear, it means science. So when we understand ये basic treatment के बारे में, that fragrances and flavors have been always a very intimate and aspect of our culture and existence. आपको याद होगा लास्ट वाले एपिसोड में मैंने ये बोला था कि जो हमारे इंडोलॉजिस्ट थे पीके गोड़े, उन्होंने ये एक रेफरेंस दिया था that the yardstick of measurement of or the index of measurement of how advanced एक civilization है, उसमें cosmetics and fragrances play a very important and a major role. So therefore, it is true that man has lived in sync with nature. We have always been very close to nature, and we have derived all benefits from nature. And it's time that we need to understand that this Shastra or this aromatherapy also benefits in different ways. ये एक स्लाइड मैंने आपके सामने इसलिए रखी है कि थोड़ा सा कलर आता है एंड यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट जब हम सांस लेते हैं हमारे सांस में बहुत तरह तरह के सुगंध ओडर, कुछ सुगंध होंगे, कुछ दुर्गंध सी भी आती है, बट हर चीज से हम आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं अपना एग्जिस्टेंस. और ये जो है हमारे डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग एज वेल एज आवर कंजम्पशन ऑफ फूड, हर चीज में इसका हमें एहसास होता है. As we go ahead in our presentation, I will be explaining all these things to you. Now, aromatherapy is something which is for all. It is for wellness, and it is a huge canvas to paint on. I mean, there are so many aspects related to aromatherapy that a person can sort of move into in terms of doing business. एक टाइम पे ये प्रोरोगेटिव था किंग्स एंड क्वींस का, जो एलिट क्लास होते थे, बिकॉज ये बहुत महंगे होते थे. बट अब now you find that it is within the reach of common man. Any common man has access to anything which is belonging to this industry, the fragrance and the flavors industry. Now, what is this Gandh Shastra? Abhi main mention kar chuki hu that basically it is the science of odor, and it plays a very important role in our Indian medical science of Ayurveda. और इसके जो different ingredients होते हैं, इनके बारे में mention आता है Indian Materia Medica में. The name of Charak and Shushruta, there isn't enough time to go into details about it, but the name of these two people can never be ignored when we look at Gandh Shastra, or we consider different aspects of Gandh Shastra. अब इसमें ये जो अरोमा इंग्रेडिएंट्स की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, इनको हम रिफर करते हैं और इसका रेफरेंस हम गंध दाव से बोलते हैं. मतलब एक एक एस्पेक्ट, एक एक उसका जो इंग्रेडिएंट है, जो पार्ट है, which is playing an important role in getting your fragrances and flavors. Now, I will make a mention over here of this particular document, which is called as Gandhasar by Gangadhara. It belongs to the period of 1200 AD. But it has drawn its literature and its references from Vrat Samhita, मैंने last time इनका mention भी किया था, Agni Puran, and it gives a complete glossary on these aromatic ingredients, which is Gandhasar. And these have been divided by Gangadhara into various different vargas or classes. Now, these are 8 essentials of perfumery. When you talk of the Gandhadravya, you will find that these have been identified under 8 heads or 8 vargas or classes. We know a plant has different, I mean, we know that a plant will have flowers, a plant will have leaves, a plant will have roots, it will have buds, etc. Now, each of these parts of the plant are giving us some essential component which is being used in the world of perfumery. So, leaves will give us, I have just given a few mentions here. We all know पत्तियां किस चीज से बनती हैं, पत्तियां क्या होती हैं एक प्लांट में. So, मैंने एक बैसिल का एग्जाम्पल दिया, ऐसे तो आप बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल निकाल देंगे. फूल होते हैं, फल होते हैं, उसके बाग होते हैं, वुड्स होते हैं, सैंडलवुड तो एवरीबडी नोज, रूट्स होते हैं, एक्सुडेशंस होते हैं जो प्लांट में से निकलते हैं, जैसे कैम्फर है, और ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं जैसे यू हैव मस्ट, यू हैव हनी, एटसेट्रा. These very 8-fold classifications are extremely important in the concept of aromatherapy. So when we talk of flowers, flowers का एक important role है, और वो रोल है sedate करना और relax करना. So जब हम aromatherapy या सुगंध चिकित्सा प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, हमें मालूम होना चाहिए कि हम क्या पर्पस है और उस पर्पस के हिसाब से हम कौन सी चीज यूज करने वाले हैं. तो फ्लावर्स, अगर हमें किसी को सेडेट करना है, किसी को नींद की प्रॉब्लम है या इंसोम्निया है, व्हाटएवर, और अ पर्सन इज स्ट्रेस्ड एंड नीड्स टू रिलैक्स, वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू यूज, व्हाट पार्ट ऑफ द प्लांट is going to give us those components which we are going to be using in our treatment, in our therapy. So flowers, once if I mean, this is some kind of a rule that we follow. It doesn't mean it always has to be the same, but we need to follow this basic rule in understanding what is the therapy and what part of the plant is going to be used by us. So when we look at flowers, we'll find that it is sedating and relaxing. When we look at raisins and barks, it is heaty and it makes जो हमारे body fluids हैं उसको move करता है. लीव्स जो होते हैं वो कूलिंग होते हैं और हमारे हेमोग्लोबिन स्ट्रक्चर से बहुत क्लोज होते हैं. रूट्स ग्राउंडिंग होते हैं. सपोजिंग समबडी किसी को कॉन्फिडेंस की प्रॉब्लम है, बेसिकली दे आर लैकिंग इन कॉन्फिडेंस, सो वी नो दैट ओके दीज आर exudations or these are basically extractions from the roots which we are going to use for the person's treatment. Fruits are growth oriented and therefore they sort of give a expanding role because fruits are going to lead into taking you into the next generation because you will get your seeds, etc. And then you will have a growth oriented concept related with it. And exudations and organic products are going to help you in a therapy where you need to use them, such as waxes, honey, powder. Now, based on this introduction that I have placed before you, इसके basis पे मैंने अपने vision से अरोमा थेरेपी को इस तरह से define किया है, which जो एक holistic understanding है अरोमा थेरेपी की सुगंध चिकित्सा. इसको मैंने title दिया है दशा स्कृति. दशा in Sanskrit meaning 10, स्कृति meaning healing. So 10 ways to heal. So what does aromatherapy do? I mean, aromatherapy क्या करता है? सुगंध चिकित्सा क्या करता है? It is healing by effects of touch communication. So इसमें आ जाता है skin manipulation and massage. It is healing by gastronomic delights. मतलब जहाँ हम flavors use कर रहे हैं, खाना पीना हम बना रहे हैं अपना, so ingestion plays an important role. It is healing by smell and limbic responses. So when we are breathing, we are smelling something which is aromatic. It is helping our brain to identify and take pleasure from it. So the olfactory bulb and the nerve is playing an important role there. You are healing yourself by breathing fresh air, and you're going into the forest, and the forests are like a natural aerosol for you. You don't need those aerosol sprays to make yourself feel, get the feeling of wellness or your well-being. You are healing by the fragrances of flowers. You are healing by experiencing nature around you. And nature you experience by what nature has created. Can be the forest, can be the cows, because cow cuddling आजकल बहुत important aspect हो गई है. Aromatherapy की treatment के साथ साथ cow cuddling भी कराते हैं. Healing by building lung capacity, by आप exercise कर रहे हो, yoga कर रहे हो, vaporizers को use कर रहे हो जब आप meditation कर रहे हो. So that is going to help you to heal also. Healing by building positivity, मतलब negativity आप negate करिए, and you will find कि जो आपके levels of of those hormones जो आपको खुश रखते हैं, happy रखते हैं, so the levels of serotonin will increase. Then you heal by the simple ways of just reorienting your thought through meditations, and you heal by building confidence and being confident. So मैंने पूरा concept जो aromatherapy का है, जिससे आपको feeling of wellness आती है, मैंने इन 10 explanation से आपके सामने explain कर दिया. Now this is, as I told you in the beginning, ये वो picture है वो Egyptian dancers की, उनके सिर के ऊपर अब आप देखिए वो cone है unguents का, fragrant unguents है, और when they dance तो ये warmth से disperse होता है oil और it goes into the scalp and to your neck and to your skin. This is a picture from the Egyptian history. Tutankhamun was very young and a very a growth-oriented kind of a pharaoh, and he is being anointed with aromatic substance by his beautiful wife. She was also known for her beauty, Nefertiti, with aromatic substance. Now, when you look at these extractions which are being used for aromatherapy, there are different ways. I'm just introducing the concept to you that there are different ways of getting these essentials from the plants, and the methodologies differ. And sometimes जब हम aromatherapy practice करते हैं, तो हमें ये concept भी अपने सामने लाना चाहिए कि I mean extracted fragrances that we are using, what is the methodology which has been used for obtaining them. So just to introduce you that either it will be obtained, essential oils will be obtained through distillation, which could be hydro, which could be steam, or which could be hydro steam. Then there is also solvent extraction. उसमें आपको रेजिनॉइड्स मिलते हैं, कंक्रीट मिलते हैं, एब्सोल्यूट्स मिलते हैं, और हम अरोमाथेरेपी में भी ये यूज करते हैं. एब्सोल्यूट्स आर बीइंग यूज्ड इन अरोमाथेरेपी टुडे. या फिर सुपर क्रिटिकल ग्रेड एक्सट्रैक्शन मिलता है, जिसमें आपके कंपोनेंट्स आप एक्सट्रैक्ट करें थ्रू CO2. CO2 is also acting like a solvent over there. Now this, you will find that as with my experience, I am placing this record before you, that जो SC grade oils थे मुझे मैंने यूज किए अपने ट्रीटमेंट्स में, चंदन है, जुनिपर बेरी है, कचूर सुगंधी है, जटामसी है, ये मैंने इसके रिजल्ट्स मुझे अच्छे मिले एक्ने में, कॉन्टैक्ट डर्मेटाइटिस में, एक्जिमा में. और टर्मरिक ऑयल तो खैर एंटी टैन फॉर्मूला है और ये डिस्कलरेशन ऑफ स्किन को भी प्रिवेंट करता है. प्रोराइटिस जब स्किन में खुजली हो जाती है, एलर्जी हो जाती है, उसमें ये हेल्प करता है. एंड सर्दी जुकाम खांसी में, पेट के एलिमेंट्स में this turmeric oil has been extremely helpful when you talk about it as a CO2 extract. Spice oils like nutmeg, fennel, ajwain, turmeric, when I have blended them, I have got good results in detoxification and rejuvenation. Now, there's a little advantage here when you are talking, मतलब आप जब CO2 extracts की बात करते हैं, you are getting almost 99.9% of the components from a particular plant, which is being extracted by this methodology. So therefore, वो जो component normally हाइड्रोस्टीन में आपके करीबन 75 to 80% ही निकलता है, कुछ जो होता है वो आपके चार्ज में रह जाता है. बट यहाँ जब वो जो मेडिसिनल वैल्यू होते हैं, वो कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं, वो नॉर्मली रह जाते हैं, बट CO2 में वो सब मिल जाते हैं. इसलिए आई थिंक आई हैव गॉट बेटर रिजल्ट्स इन व्हेन आई हैव ट्रीटेड issues of eczema and contact dermatitis. The first case is a case of eczema, and in both these cases, I have only used CO2 extract of sandalwood, and I have got result in these two cases of contact. Both cases were old cases. In fact, the contact dermatitis case was the tips of the fingers used to bleed in winters, and gradually it took time. It took a couple of years with regular application of just the oil. There was nothing given to eat from inside, or nothing was sort of done in a very, you could say, extensive manner. It was just simple application. And उसको हमने उनके जो बहुत साल से यूज करते आ रहे थे स्टेरॉइडल क्रीम्स, धीरे धीरे कम करके we have reduced it, and finally it has got cured. Now when we look at these, it's not, when we talk of these plants, it's not just out of the blue. I mean, when you talk of chandan, gulab, tulsi, champa, jasmine, jeshmat, badi ilaichi, cypress, ashwagandha, these plants have tremendous amount of oil which is very healing. And these have been used, मतलब जो हमारे यज्ञ के साइट हैं कुनाल में और different parts of हरियाणा and पंजाब, वहाँ पे इन सब की जली हुई लकड़ियाँ मिली हैं, जिससे हमने साइंटिफिकली प्रूव किया है कि ये प्लांट्स को हम लोग यूज करते थे फॉर सर्टेन पर्पसेस, बिकॉज इट वाज गिविंग सम एक्सुडेशंस, वेदर दे वर बीइंग बर्न्ड or whether they were being used in different ways in pre-Vedic times, Vedic times, as well as post-Vedic times. Hence, this is the kind of scientific literature which is in support of all these plants. So you do it through a study of your seeds, you do it through your study of pollen grains, palynology or carpology, archaeological evidences, paleobotanical fossils के साथ हमने ये सब कुछ understand कर लिया है कि these plants have had a very, very ancient use in our times of treatment and wellness and well-being. This slide I have already shown you कि आप ये देखो कि जब आप medicinal aromatic plants की बात करते हैं तो कितना wide spectrum है to get into business, right from A to Z. So you are moving from cultivating a plant right up to its creating end products, or having an idea about all this, you are becoming a consultant for aromatourism destinations, which is a huge market today. So if you can create a destination for someone, is going to be a great market, or you can also go in for vastuas. Just a repetitive slide here, that aromatic plants have been used since ancient times for understanding of what it has on the mind as well as the body and the soul. And then gradually how it became a part of religion. And from there, we have understood that it has become a part of our daily lives today. and every individual, be any common man, is making use of it, is incorporating it in some way or the other in their fragrances and in their food or in their daily use items. This also gives, I'm not going to repeat the slide because I've already explained it here, that the constituents of essential oils have so many things which are specifically working when we are doing the aromatherapy practice or we are doing a particular therapy on an individual. So you are getting benefits from all these components in a different way, and this is bringing in results. How do the essential oils enter your skin? This, I mean, you have to look at it because as I go ahead, I'm going to be explaining that how are we taking in these essential oils in different ways. So, त्वचा से जाता है, ingestion मतलब खाने पीने से जाता है, smell से जाता है, गंध की भावना से जाता है. But then what is going in has to come out also. So we are also excreting it either through perspiration or through urination or through the fecal discharge. Now coming to the main topic, that is what is aromatherapy? How does it work on an individual when we are practicing a therapy? Now these are the 4 ways that you will find that aromatherapy, or again, I make a reference to it as Sugandh Chikitsa, in these 4 ways. आपको मालूम है कि आपको भी लोग बोलते हैं जब आप खाना खाते हो तो 32 बार आप उसको चबाओ, क्यों? There's a reason behind it. So when we masticate the food, when we place the food in our mouth, and then when we swallow the food, when we are ingesting it, it is going into our GI tract, it is having at every point of time, it is having a different effect on our body. Now let's take the first, that is the skin pathway. And why is it needed for skin health? Skin, we know, is the first line of defense. उसके क्या क्या फंक्शन है? प्रोटेक्शन है, अंदर का जो हमारी जो फिजियोलॉजी है, हमको हमारी जो फिजिक है उसको पूरा प्रोटेक्ट करता है, एक्सक्रीट करता है, टेम्परेचर रेगुलेट करता है. सो बीइंग द लार्जेस्ट ऑर्गन, मतलब हमारा सबसे बड़ा ऑर्गन जो है एक्चुअली स्किन, एंड इट सफर्स द मोस्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑफ वेरियस रीजंस. बहुत सारे रीजंस है. एनवायरमेंट है, सबको पता है, पोल्यूशन है, रेडिएशन है, हमारे malfunction of the endocrines है. We are going through so many issues of hormonal disturbances today, which is affecting हमारा metabolism. There is stress, there is tension. All these aspects will first of all reflect on your skin in different ways. For different people, it will have a reflection in a different way. So skincare becomes extremely important. So essential oils will help in increasing, when you are using essential oils for massage, it will help to increase the blood supply of the skin. There will be better nutrition to the skin and the skin will become healthy. And it will affect the lymphatic drainage, which again, I'm going to explain in detail as we go ahead, which is very, very and extremely important today. And all this when we put together, ये सब क्या देगा हमको? Healthy skin. और आजकल जो बहुत एडवांस्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन हो गया है ट्रीटमेंट्स में डर्मेटोलॉजिकल स्किन डिसऑर्डर्स is the mind and the skin, and it is being given a great importance. That is, when a person is having any kind of a disorder as far as mental issues are concerned, many a times today doctors are treating it by treating their skin. So it is becoming a very important consideration in treating the mind also. This is an interesting slide. Just look at it. One square. I'm not saying every part of the body has this kind of a structure, but look at the intense supply in a particular place where 1 square of inch has been taken as an example for you. So this, as we go ahead, you'll see the face is the place where we have maximum enrichment in different ways by nature, by God. The creation of the human being has this kind of a understanding that the body is enriched with so many things. Look at the number of blood vessels, look at the number of sweat glands, the sensory cells, the nerves, the pressure points, the pain receptors, the cold receptors, heat receptors. Look at the number of cells and the hair. Sometimes we have some hair is of course downy hair, कुछ hair होते हैं थोड़े dark होते हैं, thick होते हैं, दिखते हैं. But there are so many hairs which are downy hair. They are very fine, so you cannot see them. And the oil glands. So at some places where the skin is enriched with so much, do we not need to take care of the skin? We do need to take care of the skin. And how is the skin taken care of? In different ways. You are exfoliating the dead skin because uh, we are all the time shedding cells. The dead cells are getting shed. And when the piling of the dead cells takes place, the skin becomes slow in its function. So we need to exfoliate the skin. We need to see that we are giving the new cells a proper passage to come to the top, because there are three layers in the skin. And top as the epidermis, it should reach where the hypodermis and you have the new cells being made. It should, between the dermis and the hypodermis, it has to come up to the epidermis. But if there is a pilage, then the new cells are not going to show up, and therefore your skin is going to look haggard and dead and torn, and all kinds of issues with skin will emerge. Now, when you talk of the skin, your scalp is also important. Hair care is also important. So when you're massaging the scalp and the hair, you're relieving your stiffness, you're relieving yourself with so much of load on yourself, all issues of headache, etc., all will get reduced. And you are promoting lymph drainage in the scalp also. So don't think the hair is just one fine thread which is hanging from the scalp. No, it is equally living as any part of your body. It has a cuticle, जो उसकी मैंने लास्ट टाइम ये एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया, आज मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ कि ये जो क्यूटिकल होता है वो जैसे फिश के ऊपर स्केल्स होते हैं, एक के ऊपर स्केल्स होते हैं, जैसे क्यूटिकल में भी ऐसे स्केल होते हैं, इट्स स्केली लेयर. एंड अगर आपने हेयर केयर नहीं की है तो ये स्केल्स उठ जाते हैं एक के ऊपर से एक, और बाहर का पोल्यूशन, ड्राइनेस एंड हीट, ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू एंटर योर हेयर, एंड दैट्स वेयर द हेयर का लुक जो होता है वो खराब हो जाता है. So you have another layer which is the cortex, the layer that is containing the pigment. Basically, it's the gene of your hair which is lying there, and it also has the moisture which is giving the luster to it. और मेडुला, वो कभी कभार किसी के बहुत पतले बाल होते हैं तो उनका मेडुला होता है या नहीं होता है, बट ये टॉप टू दैट इज क्यूटिकल एंड द कॉर्टेक्स इज ऑलवेज देयर. Medulla for fine hair may or may not be present there, because if the medulla is present, the hair is a little more firm. But if the medulla is absent, the hair is a little fine and thin, and it tends to just fall flat. So hair is having these three layers, and hair has to be equally taken care of. This is just a picture which I showed the last time also, which gives you an idea how the hair, when you have a picture of the cut image of the hair, this is how the medulla, cortex and the cuticle will look. Now let's look at the facial skin. Look at the number of bundles which are there. And each of these bundles has to be taken care of. When we are going in for massage, we cannot massage the facial skin in any haphazard manner. In aromatherapy, we are very particular about about the manipulations being very gentle, and the manipulations never pulling the skin in a reverse direction. Because the reason being very simple, that in the parts of our body, it is only on the face where the skin is attached to our muscles. And if we are pulling our skin in the wrong direction, in the reverse direction, to weigh in the way that the muscle bundles have been arranged on our face, we are going to be pulling our muscles also down. So you tend to have wrinkles at a much earlier age, and you tend to have a haggard skin. So therefore, the massage of the facial skin has to be in a particular, and there are many reasons. As I go ahead, I'll show you what are the reasons. It's just not the muscle layout which has to be taken care of. It's the nerves, it's the blood supply, it's the skin being attached to these muscles, which become a very important consideration. Again, it gives on the other side the idea of the muscles, the way the muscles have been arranged around the chin, around the eyes, at the forehead, on the two sides of the nose. So our manipulation of when we are massaging the face, it has to be in a particular direction. Look at the profusion of blood supply. How much? That's why अगर face पे चोट लगती है तो बहुत जल्दी heal हो जाती है. आपने देखा होगा. So the reason is that God has gifted our face with so much of blood supply, and therefore, if we are taking care of our facial skin, we are taking care of the, I mean, if you are doing something to your face, taking care of it, you will find that you tend to feel heavenly. You tend to feel more hungry. That kind of a concept emerges if facial skin is taken care of. Look at the nerves. Look at the number of nerves which are supplied on the face. That's why the touch on the face is very important. And hitting children also becomes very important. With aromatherapy, we try to tell people, please don't hit children, because the face and what parents normally do is hit the children on the face. It should not be done. And that's the wonder of touch communication. So it's aromatherapy. We feel we'll go to over the counter, हम खरीद लेंगे एक formulation किसी बड़े aromatherapist थेरेपिस्ट ने बना के डाला हुआ है और वो हम लगा लेंगे और हमारी therapy हो जाएगी. It doesn't work that way. It needs to be worked along the pathways, and therefore this image will give an idea as to how we are supposed to massage the skin, and to a large extent the formulations should be always fresh. You should keep your essential oils separate, and depending on what you need to use, then and there you formulate your oil for massage and use it. Now we come to the lymph and the lymph drainage part. Why is it so important? What is this lymphatic system? हमारा जो heart है वो एक pump है. So our blood circulation is connected to a pump, and therefore it is taken care of. But when we talk of the lymph, there is no pump for it. But we have the lymph, we have the lymph vessels, which are known as the lymphatics, and we have the lymph nodes from where the lymph is drained out of a body. So lymph is nothing but whatever the toxins are being are sort of left out after the blood has circulated and the body has taken what it needs. जो बच गया है वो सारे toxins हैं, उसको हम lymph बोलते हैं, वो body से निकालना होता है. And therefore lymph is circulated how? Either it is pushed, which will be pushed by either massage, or it will be pushed either by various methods of exercise. This is the lymph drainage understanding, that face पे और neck पे आप ये देखिए कि ये जो drainage है ये lymphatic से lymph vessel से होकर के आपके neck और जो head में nodes हैं वहां से होता हुआ it has to be drained out, and then it is drained out from the cervical nodes of the neck. So those nodes आप ये देखेंगे वो points दिख रहे हैं. Those are the nodes from where the drainage is taking place, and it has to be thrown out of your body. We go to the next pathway. That's we've taken the skin. Now we go on to the respiratory part. हम 24 घंटा सांस लेते हैं. In other words, हम 24 घंटा हम aromatherapy practice करते हैं. So we are, what is this सांस लेना aromatherapy practice करना through your breathing? You are nourishing your body with the required oxygen, and you are nourishing your body with what is available in your environment around you. जो अच्छी चीजें हैं वो आपके अंदर जा रही है, अगर अच्छी चीजें नहीं है, pollution है, वो भी आपके अंदर जा रही है. So therefore the quality of the air which is around us becomes important. और consciously or subconsciously वो impact कर रही है हमको physically भी, physiologically भी और psychologically. और जो हमारे lungs हैं वो वही काम कर रहे हैं जो हमारी skin बाहर कर रही है. The only thing is that the lungs are inside, and they are performing the same role of cleaning and protecting our body from inside by keeping away the unhealthy micropathogens. और जो mucous membrane हमारी lining में है, जो हमारी nasal cavity में है, और जो हमारी larynx में है, और जो हमारे bronchial tissues हैं, वो also nourish करते हैं, because वहाँ पे they are doing the protective role of protecting our body internally, और lungs में वही जा रहा है जो वहाँ पे निकाल दिया, basically which is bad for us, it has been removed. And that's where the proactive compounds of essential oils play an important role. So in aromatherapy, the respiratory aspect also comes into play and is very important. What happens in this respiratory olfactory system? This is a pathway which is known as olfaction. And इसमें जो chemical molecules हैं वो हमारे dissolve हो जाते हैं nose में. In the nose, we have something called as an olfactory bulb. And then we also have an olfactory epithelium. जहाँ पे वो dissolve होके, the message, there is a imagery being created. There's a kind of a picture being created by what we are smelling. So whether it is perfumes, or whether it is a drink, or whether it's a good odor, या वो खराब rotting trash की smell है, या बॉडी ओडर है या स्टिंकी कुत्ता कुत्ता आसपास में है जिसके कारण आपको वो स्मेल आ रही है, और वो इमेज इमीडिएटली बन जाता है. कहाँ बनता है वो इमेज? वो हमारा इमेज बनता है हमारे ब्रेन. In the brain we have the limbic region. Limbic region is the oldest part of our brain. In fact, अभी तक जब MBBS की पढ़ाई भी होती थी तो डॉक्टर्स को limbic region normally was sidetracked. But now it has become a very important aspect, and a specific part has been generated in the teaching when they are teaching the brain for MBBS, that the limbic region is being taught. You normally tend to associate it, till now, we were associating it with the lower animals, whether it's dogs, etc. But now we realize that limbic region plays a very important role. And why does it play an important role? That's what I'm explaining in this next slide. That these are, ये जो खुशबू की impulses हैं, ये work करती हैं हमारे master gland पे, which is the pituitary gland. They work on the pineal gland, and therefore they are working on the hypothalamus. All this is there in our limbic region. And इससे हमारे endorphins पे effect आ रहा है, हमारे balancing of hormones पे effect आ रहा है. And you have these parts of the limbic region which are there in the slide, the hippocampus and the amygdala, which are the controlling aspects of our emotions. So gussa aana ya understanding that you're happy, or creating memories of the past, or having a desire to do something, or feeling well, or having a desire to sleep and sleep nicely, and doing almost everyday chores, जो आपके daily के chores होते हैं, it's all controlled by the limbic region of our brain. So aromatherapy plays an extremely important role when you are talking of the olfaction system. We go to the next aspect, that is mastication, ingestion, flavor. So खुशबू से, जब we are talking about, you try to please yourself with good food. So how does this good food, and दोनों connected हैं. When we are talking of olfaction, because कुछ smells हैं air flow के साथ वो नाक से हमारे अंदर भी जाती हैं. So when you are swallowing something, you are also smelling it. So therefore, the airflow is taking that smell to your process of mastication and ingestion and swallowing. How does that happen? This is what the slide is explaining here. Flavor, आप ये देखिए, उसका impact है हमारे chemical sense receptors. Now, जब हम कुछ चीजें खाते हैं तो कुछ चीजों में जो smells होती है कुछ volatile होती है, मतलब वो उड़ जाती है, evaporate होती है. तो जो volatile होती है वो तो ऊपर चली गई, उन्होंने limbic region पे effect कर दिया. जो volatile नहीं है और they are non-volatile and they are soluble, they are going to go down and get ingested and swallowed with your food. But जो volatile है वो airflow से mixing भी हो रही है. So you are experiencing the goodness of good food both ways, by your olfaction also and by your mastication, chewing and swallowing. So 3 stages of food in the mouth are: when you are putting food in your mouth, you are masticating it and आप उसको swallow करके ingest कर रहे हैं. So mastication जो है वो aroma compounds को discharge करता है food matrix में, और humans जब उसको chew करते हैं, food को मुंह में डालते हैं, वो chew करते हैं, चबाते हैं, तो उसका उनको realization होता है. So these volatiles जो हैं, जो nasal epithelium से नीचे उनके साथ mix हो रहे हैं airflow के साथ, वो experience भी हो रहा है, यही मैंने अभी समझाया. And therefore swallowing and nasal airflow is going to determine the effect of these odor compounds on the olfactory receptors, and they are responsible for detection of the odorants in the nasal cavity. So दोनों बहुत closely connected. Now I am bringing before you a small, very basic concept of aroma dressing. Environment vitiated है, levels of toxicity high हैं, pollutions हैं. The body has to be protected for all the reasons that I have placed before you. So we do go in for a daily bath on a regular regimen. हम नहाते भी हैं, but इसी regimen में हम include करेंगे application of essential oils onto the body before your dressing up. This is going to give fragrance in the environment, and it will be a natural protective layer also against the viruses and the bacteria around. These are all small efforts that we can make. So essential oils की यहाँ पे individual preferences important रहती हैं therapy में, and which we can, once we know about aromatherapy, we can tell people about them. So what is the methodology of use in aromatherapy? Essential oils are never going to be used directly. Essential oils, though are a life force of the plant, और यही अपनी ऐड कर देते हैं, अपनी लाइफ और इंटेलिजेंस ह्यूमन बॉडी को ऐड कर देते हैं जब हम उसको इनहेल करते हैं या इंजेस्ट करते हैं. And therefore they basically, these are fragrances. They are not chemically formulated, they are not isolated from natural sources, but these are essential oils. They have hundreds of chemical components, never to be used directly, but they can be used in a carrier oil, they can be used in a gel, and carrier oil can be a carrier oil of your choice. Could be a vegetable oil. And then you will find that you have to formulate it keeping in mind the top note, the middle note, and the base note. Now, if you look at the aromatherapy chart, you will understand that essential oils have a different, the French have understood it in a particular way, that some oils are dry, some oils are wet, some oils are hot, some oils are cooling. And some oils की volatility बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, जिनमें top note होता है, and we have to mix and merge and formulate according to a proper understanding of the top note, middle note, and base note. Therefore, I will place a caution here that you need to learn about what are these notes, what are these oils, what are their components. It takes a little time, but once you have understood, it's a wonderful area to work in. This I am putting before you as how you can combine to understand that Ayurvedic practices can be combined with Sugandh Chikitsa or aromatherapy, with the practice of Vastu. You can use it in the techniques of Shurodhara. You can use it in foot and hand reflexology, lymph drainage, skin polishing, जिसको हम लोग उपटन बोलते हैं. And in Vastu, there is this wonderful one example which I'm placing, that if there are relationship issues, then the direction to be used is southwest, and the oils to be used in improving your Vastu in relationships is lavender, sweet marjoram, ylang-ylang, ginger, and tuberose. It's just one example. Can be consulted with someone, and you can make use of it. Now, here, the first question somebody would want to know is, how does one learn? Where are these institutions in India where one can go to and you can get this kind of a guidance? In the West, there has been tremendous research in clinical aromatherapy. And therefore, in America and in Europe, there are organizations and associations which are recognized and do extend these courses in the sector. But India, we are still having a gap in terms of starting clinical research, and therefore a holistic training facility center is still not completely available. Like with my own experience, I will say that it took me about 35 years to come to an understanding of so many issues, not just by one course or probably a single training. I have been persistently pursuing it. Like, for example, like I did PG diploma in wellness from Apollo hospitals in Hyderabad to understand basically. I'm from the arts field, but I understood what anatomy is. I understood what is the science that the body is talking about. And then gradually I did a whole lot of trainings with, it's years now, it's decades, with CMAP and with FFDC and a whole lot of other institutions associated with them, and then became their trainer also, to get down to understanding what is this aromatherapy. Because see, look at the number of things that you need to understand when you practice aromatherapy. You need to understand what is wellness. You need to understand what is this anatomy of the human being that we're working on. What are these therapies? What are their effects? You need to understand the essential oils and what are the effects on the body, mind, soul, as well as the environment. You need to understand a little about Vastu. You need to understand what are these skin manipulations and massage. And then you will understand, as I have explained in the slides, you need to understand that these things have a holistic effect on the human body. So I have associated with a large number of international and national bodies, trained students in aromatherapy. There is one good news, which I will sort of just drop in here, is that the Center for Aromatic Plants at Selapi, Dehradun, has been given a green signal. To start clinical research is not a simple thing. It's a huge area of work, and a huge number of permissions are needed. So they have been given the sanction to at least begin a new building and begin international collaboration towards initiating the concept of clinical research. So we are hopeful that in times to come, there would be some solution or some answer to these issues for those who are really interested in working on it. This is just a little slide I've put for you to understand. The hands, the palms, और जो हमारे हथेली हैं और जो soles हैं हमारे जो पैर के तलुए हैं, इनके ऊपर there are throughout the body also you have pressure points. यहाँ पे भी जो pressure points हैं, इनको भी अगर आप essential oils के साथ massage करते हैं, so it gives you. It's just one example I have given as a photograph for you to understand. You will find that there is relief when these are worked on. The rest of it is probably an understanding that it is all in the head. When you talk of aromatherapy, it's all in the head because we have a brain which is responsible for taking care of us, which is responsible हमारी वो सब thoughts को वो feed करता है. मैंने olfaction की आपको explanation दी है. So it is the home to our body, to our mind, to our personality. उसी में सारी सब हमारी memories हैं, उसी में हमारे future hopes हैं, उसी में हमारी thought process है, उसी में हमारी पूरी existence है. And aromatherapy is working here. So it is giving, the brain gives us the purpose, the passion, the motion, and the emotion. And therefore, aromatherapy being one such sector which is going to help the brain to function in the most appropriate manner. With this, I would like to end my presentation, hoping that I have tried to clarify to a large extent, whatever possible, for people to understand what is aromatherapy and how does it work on the human beings.
डॉक्टर थैंक यू सो मच. आपने बॉडी, ब्रेन और टोटल पर्सनैलिटी पर जो इसका इफेक्ट बताया, समथिंग यूनिक, और मैं समझता हूँ कि इसका फ्यूचर इस कॉन्सेप्ट के साथ एक बहुत ब्राइट फ्यूचर होगा. और कितना एसेंशियल है ये, इसका नाम एसेंशियल ऑयल है और ये ह्यूमन बॉडी और ह्यूमन ब्रेन के लिए भी उससे ज़्यादा एसेंशियल है. अक्सर अब थोड़ा सा हम लोग इसके बिजनेस मॉडल्स के बारे में बात करें, और पर्टिकुलरली मैं चाहूँगा कि स्मॉल स्केल पे जो नए एंटरप्रेन्योर्स इसमें एंटर करना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए आपका क्या सजेशन है, वो किस तरह से इस फील्ड में एंटर कर सकते हैं?
दरअसल इशू तो सारा प्रॉब्लम इसी पे आ जाता है कि हमारे पास कोई भी एक ऐसा इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं है जो एक क्रिएट कर दे एक एंटरप्रेन्योर और अ बिजनेसमैन. सो जो छोटे लेवल पे अगर स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं, बिकॉज यू डोंट नीड, एक्चुअली ऑनेस्टली मैं बोलूँ तो बहुत पैसा नहीं चाहिए पहले जी. यू नीड अ स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ मनी एंड यू नीड अ लिटिल, आपके खुद एक अंदर से पैशन चाहिए कि आप थोड़ा बहुत रीड करिए. इंटरनेट पे बहुत मटेरियल है, बट आप इंटरनेट के मटेरियल पे अकेले नहीं जा सकते. आपको यू हैव टू टॉक टू स्पेशलिस्ट, यू हैव टू टॉक टू पीपल हु आर प्रैक्टिसिंग अरोमाथेरेपी. सब ने थोड़ी बहुत एक्सपीरियंस ली है, पढ़ाई की है, और उसके बाद ही वो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं. बट फॉर इट टू कैच आवर इमेजिनेशन, वी नीड पीपल हु आर पैशनेट. So once you understand that there is scope, and again, I will come to the point like last time that with Corona, health issues are going to be growing in number. And particularly the youngsters, the school children, जो एक साल से स्कूल नहीं गए, ना वो अपने buddies के साथ में interact कर पा रहे. So I mean, we have to understand what the children are going through. These children are going to be affected most adversely. And here is the important part, that we look at aromatherapy as a way to reach out to the children. We look at aromatherapy as a way to reach out to the old people. So अगर कोई किसी का passion है, किसी को interest है, so they can talk to people like us. We are there. So you can connect with us and you can understand that आप अगर इसमें entry करना चाहते हो, आप therapy सीखना चाहते हो, and reach out to the people. See, it's a chain we have to make. So if somebody wants to do business, can reach out, and this business will never collapse. This business is only going to grow. So they can reach out to people like us and find out who else can help them. CMAP है, वैसे तो आप लोग भी हो, IID वाले भी है, and you can reach out to people to basically they have to understand कि human body क्या है, essential oil क्या है, do a little reading and connect the two things. So they can, with a small amount of money, begin the practice at their level. Because the risk comes in when you are using things which are which you don't understand the chemical composition of. But certain things like rose, etc., which are very neutral oils, these oils anybody can start working with. And with a little support from an aromatherapist, they can start their own. And business एक दिन में तो नहीं होगा डॉक्टर साहब. Reading on your part, it takes a lot of passion on your part to put the things together and then begin on the mission. So they can do it, but it will take efforts.
अच्छा, इस थेरेपी में सबसे ज्यादा कौन सा ऑयल यूज होता है? वाइडली यूज कौन सा ऑयल है?
ऐसा तो मैं क्वेश्चन नहीं आंसर कर पाऊंगी डॉक्टर साहब, because every oil has its own role to play. So when we talk of rose, we are talking of geranium. So if अगर हम रोज का रेट देखिए कितना है, 10 लाख का रेट है. तो अगर उसका सब्स्टिट्यूट हम लेते हैं जेरेनियम, उसमें भी हमें जेरेनियल मिल जाता है. So these are all relaxing oils. That component is basically a relaxing component. So हम उसको सब्स्टिट्यूट कर सकते हैं. अब जैसे मैंने तो मिशन लिया है कि मेरे को हाई एल्टीट्यूड प्लांट्स के साथ काम करना. पहले मैंने भी टी ट्री के साथ काम किया. These are all imported oils. बट मेरा एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत जो आप बोल रहे हो, मेरे एक अंदर का पैशन था कि आई वांट टू यूज ऑयल्स व्हिच आर इंडियन ऑयल्स. I can always find an Indian oil which is a substitute to tea tree. I don't have to go just for tea tree. So in the hills, in the Himalayas, I'm finding oils with so much of camphor. The component is basically camphor. So I can always substitute tea tree with the oil which is an indigenous oil, our own oil, and treat people with that particular component which is mainly camphor. So I mean, creativity आती है. A person can mix oils, use oils with an understanding कि कौन सा component आपको use करना है. और जैसे मैंने एक list दी थी कि वो एक essentials है कि फूल use करने हैं, कि बाग use करना है, या leaves use करने हैं, purpose क्या है. So आपको उसके हिसाब से आपका oil change होगा.
अक्सर मैं चाहूँगा कि आप इस फील्ड में जो नए अरोमा थेरेपिस्ट हैं, इनके लिए अपना एक मैसेज दें जो उनको इंस्पायर करेगा इस फील्ड में आने के लिए.
मैंने जैसे लास्ट लेक्चर में भी बोला था, अपने टॉपिक में बोला था कि प्लांट्स आर वेरी क्लोज टू आवर कल्चर एंड वी हैव टू लर्न टू लव आवर प्लांट्स, अप्रिशिएट देम एंड कंसिडर दैट दे आर अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर कल्चरल एग्जिस्टेंस. सो आई वुड only give a message that respect what nature has given. Use it the way nature has given it, in a way that you are not destroying nature, and use it to the benefit of mankind. And aromatherapy does it very well. So they can अपना ले और यूज करें अपने लिए, अपने घर वालों के लिए, अपनी सोसाइटी के लिए, आसपास के लोगों के लिए.
साहब, एक और लास्ट क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि एक जो भी अरोमा थेरेपिस्ट है उसको ऑयल कहीं ना कहीं से परचेज करना है
जी,
तो इसके क्वालिटी पैरामीटर्स पे कैसे एश्योरेंस है होगी उसको?
ये इश्यूज एक्चुअली थोड़े डिफिकल्ट हैं डॉक्टर साहब. मैंने ये इसीलिए डिसाइड किया कि everybody cannot do it, but I decided that I will grow my plants, my flowers, which I will use. I'm sure about what I'm using, but parameters decide करना, I'm not quite comfortable in disclosing this kind of a thing. मुझे मिलता नहीं, सच्ची बोलो तो मिलता नहीं है. You have to do a lot of R&D at your level to come down to finding such.
तो मेरे ख्याल से इसका एक ही सोल्यूशन है कि वो उसका सोर्स ठीक होना चाहिए. एक रिलायबल सोर्स से अगर वो लेता है तो पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं कि उसको ठीक प्रोडक्ट मिल रहा है.
उसके लिए वही है कि डॉक्टर साहब, वी हैव टू प्रमोट कल्टीवेशन.
जी,
जितने फार्मर्स ज्यादा कल्टीवेट करेंगे उतने हमारे वो ऑयल्स ऑनेस्टली उसकी प्राइस भी कम हो जाएगी एंड उसकी अवेलेबिलिटी भी ज्यादा हो जाएगी. तो as a nation we have to come together to see that there should be more of diversified cultivation of these plants, horticulture.
और अक्सर कल्टीवेशन में भी जैसा आपने बताया है, जो इसके कल्टीवेशन में जाएगा कन्वेंशनल क्रॉप्स की तुलना में तो उसकी इनकम और बढ़ेगी.
जी,
और ये भी तो एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत मिशन का एक एस्पेक्ट है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इसमें कोई नुकसान नहीं है उसको,
नहीं,
और
कोई नुकसान नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है।
बेनिफिशियल
वो
ही
ये
है उसके लिए।
एक्सपोजर, डॉक्टर साहब क्या है ना, एक्सपोजर की कमी है। So
जी
the greater the exposure with time, I think we will have more people going in pulse cultivation. कितना लैंड, अब आप देखिए उत्तराखंड में डॉक्टर साहब 350 गांव अभी तक पड़े हुए थे खाली, घोस्ट विलेजेस थे।
जी
अब लोग वापस आ गए हैं बिकॉज ऑफ कोरोना। सो वी आर होपफुल दैट नाउ वी आर, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क गोइंग ऑन, क्लस्टर्स बना के कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि लोगों को
जी।
हम बताएं कि कौन सी क्रॉप आप लगाइए, सो दैट वी कैन हैव दीज क्रॉप्स अवेलेबल फॉर aromatherapy practice.
मतलब बिगनिंग कहीं अवेयरनेस से शुरू करनी चाहिए हम लोगों को,
जी जी जी
और बिगनिंग अगर अच्छी होगी, कल्टीवेशन से होगा, तो प्रोडक्ट भी अच्छा होगा, और
जी।
मेरे ख्याल से इसकी अच्छी स्प्रेडिंग भी होगी।
यस यस डेफिनेटली।
डॉक्टर साहब, थैंक यू सो मच, आपने अपना टाइम हमको दिया।
माय
और मुझे
प्लेजर।
सबसे ज़्यादा खुशी इस बात से है कि हमारा और आपका मिशन भी मैच करता है।
जी 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 जी
आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए हम भी काम करते हैं, और आपका भी
जी
यही पैशन और यही मिशन है।
जी जी।
सो नाइस मीटिंग यू, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू सो मच।
नमस्कार सर।